called us from jail that second time, and I talked with him a bit, and I said, and it was very difficult for me to do, but I understood that Andrew needed to experience the consequences of his choices. I said, Andrew, keep me posted on how that works out, which was my way of saying, I'm not getting an attorney, I'm not coming down bailing you out, I'm not putting money on your commissary or whatever, you're going to find your way out of this. And I didn't know how he would, I honestly didn't. Well, he got released on his own recognizance after a few days, and he went to court, and at the court the judge asked Andrew, do you have an attorney? And Andrew said, no. And the judge said, okay, I'm going to set a new court date and you're going to have an attorney then. And Andrew said, okay. So Andrew showed up for the next court date, and the judge said, do you have an attorney? And Andrew said, no, I don't have an attorney, I don't have any money. So the judge told Andrew, you need to get a job. Get an attorney, and when you come back at this next court date, you'll have an attorney, or I'm going to lock you back up in jail. And then eventually I'm going to appoint an attorney when I feel like it. So Andrew was left with the choice of finding an attorney or go to jail. And I didn't know what he was going to do. I expected him to end up going to jail. Andrew hated jail, and he started trying to solve his problem. And he managed to find what I would call a top-tier attorney that was willing to represent him for artwork and the promise of some instructions and things like that. Andrew could be very persuasive, I mean, if I'd been in his shoes, I would have just probably gone back to jail, but he found a way. And that's one of the things that I really enjoyed about him, was his ability to solve problems. And they were mostly problems that he created, I admit. but he was very inventive that way. Lastly, I'd like to mention this is the only service we're going to have for him, because he wasn't real religious or religious at all. So we feel like a sharing of grief among the family and friends in this kind of setting is most fitting. I'd like to conclude with a few remarks. This is a quote that I found that I think applies. A drink so I can make sure you hear me. A human being is a part of the whole called by us universe, a part limited in time and space. He experiences himself, his thoughts, feelings, as something separated from the rest, a kind of optical delusion of his consciousness. This delusion is a kind of prison for us, restricting us to our personal desires and to the affection for a few persons nearest to us. Our task must be to free ourselves from this prison by widening our circle of compassion to embrace all living creatures and the whole of nature in its beauty. I feel like Andrew exemplified that quote. And that was written by Albert Einstein. I'm going to sit down now. Joy's going to share a few words with you. I thank you all for being here today.
I'm Andrew Meredith's mom. That's how I introduce myself, and I always will. Although there was a couple of years when they were teenagers when I was like, oh my God, can I just have my name back? Now I don't really care. I'm fine with Andrew Meredith's mom. And I'm sorry, baby, but I have to say it together. It just goes that way. I can't say one and it goes together, okay? I wanted to have things written down and be all organized, but if you know me, I kind of am super organized. I'm sure Andrew inherited that from me. So I did make some notes, and the first thing I want to say, I even have numbers by the notes, so I'll try to do it in order. first thing I want to say is, everyone here rocks. Rocks. Thank you for coming. Thank you for coming when I didn't want to be here. I ran late and my hairbrush fell in the litter box and couldn't find my stupid blush. Asked 3 friends and none of them had blush today. Someone brought me coffee, thank you. And I have to go to the bathroom really bad, but I'm going to get through this. They even brought extra underwear. I'm sorry, TMI. So thank you for coming and sharing your heart. And if you want to come over here and say something, please do. And if you're not comfortable, then don't. And don't worry about it. It's all good. The second thing I want to say is I don't really have a filter anymore, so I'm going to drop that F-bomb a couple of times, and I hope you guys can deal with that. And that anger is okay. Yep. I was pretty mad when I woke up this morning. I was mad when the police officers came to my door and told me that I needed to call the medical examiner. I didn't get it the first time, I didn't get it the second time, and the third time the police officer had to touch me on the arm and look me in the eye and very slowly say, medical examiner, before it got through. And I realized he's not in the hospital, that he's gone, and that's why I need to call the medical examiner. And I was mad. And anger is okay because it's part of the sadness. So I forgive myself for being angry. And I know those of you that love Andrew are experiencing anger, and that's okay. And part of the stages of grief are to be angry. And it's not fair, and you make deals, and you go through denial, and then you accept, and then you love, and you laugh. Well, I'm probably not saying them right, but anyway. So I wanted to share that because I figured, well, if his mom can share that, then it's okay for you guys to be mad too. You know what I mean? It's okay. Forgive yourself for that anger, please. Allow it to happen, and know that if we don't go through these feelings, that it's more like a bumper car. We just hit over and over and bounce. And you really have to process your feelings by going through them. And you will be healthier and happier. Okay, what number am I at? One of the things I really loved about Andrew is that he loved babies. And the fact that there's a baby crying during the service or making noise, I love. Because Andrew would love that. So if a baby runs up and down the aisle or someone screams or squeals or needs a diaper change, that's totally cool. He loved animals and he loved the elderly. We could be walking somewhere, and if he saw someone that was elderly, he wanted to stop and say hi and share with them and talk and hear about their life. How cool is that? How many people, how many kids do you know that do that? He was so unique and so loving and had such an open heart. I hate talking about him in the past tense because he has survived in many forms in his life. I'm going to get a little metaphysical for a minute. So the first time I met Andrew's spirit was in a dream. I didn't realize I was pregnant. I was dating this really cool guy. And I had a dream, and there was a baby. And believe it or not, he looked like Andrew. Because when he was born, I was like, oh my God, he looks like the baby from the dream. And in the dream, he looked at me. And I knew this was my baby. And so I was really excited. I don't know how he knew it, but I just did. And I looked at him, and he looked at me, and he said, are you my mom? And I said, yes. And he said, oh, good. And I woke up, and I turned to my boyfriend all excited, and I said, I had this really cool dream. And he was like, oh, shit. And I was like, it's just a dream. Calm down. Jeez. And then my contacts didn't fit 2 weeks later, and I was like, what? I just bought these. And I was sick to my stomach, and then I was, oh shit. So we had our baby first, and then our wedding. Very untraditional. And that's okay. That's probably where Andrew learned it from. So what I was trying to say is that we're in different stages. So the first time I met Andrew, he was in spirit form. And now he's in spirit form again. I know that, Andrew. So he's still here. And I believe that. You know, he was growing inside of me, and then he was born as a little baby, and then this adorable child and an adult, and now he's back in spirit form. So the outside has changed, but his spirit is still there. And I take a lot of comfort in knowing that. I'm trying so hard to have an attitude of gratitude. And instead of just focusing on what I've lost and what we've lost, but to remember what we do have. And, you know, Andrew was all about living his dreams, and he always wanted a capuchin monkey or sugar gliders. And a couple of years ago, he got 2 sugar gliders. And that was so cute. We have pictures of them, and I don't remember their names, but they were really cute. And I love the fact that he lived that dream. He did a book report on the state of Oregon when he was 10. Totally obsessed about Oregon. Always wanted to live there. Talked other people into moving to Oregon before he got there. Talked his dad into buying tickets to come see him perform in Oregon. So he lived that dream too. So that's what I'm focusing on, is the fact that he did live his dreams. I mean, whether it was dressing in old lady clothes. Yeah, he did that, and it was kind of cute and kind of weird, but I loved him. And it was unique. It was always interesting when he would wear the little old lady sweaters with the pearl buttons. I was like, I think I might wear that sweater. That's kind of cute. He was like, right, I found this at the garage sale, and he was all excited. That was my baby. He liked to wear 4 kinds of purple. He loved unicorns. He liked girls. whatever floats your boat. But he lived his dreams, and he was human, and he messed up. And I have to keep remembering, I mean, because if he had committed suicide, I would be really, really angry. I would not. I mean, I could get into a car accident tomorrow and accidentally kill myself. That's an accident, and people could be mad about it, but it's an accident. And I have to keep focusing on the fact that he wasn't trying to commit suicide. He wasn't trying to die. He just made a mistake. And that we're all going to die someday. And so I am grateful that we have him for the 26 years. Attitude of gratitude. Okay. I also want to share that if there's anything that you can learn from coming here today, it is to reach out and speak up. Don't be shy. It's okay to say something and embarrass yourself, and to say something that's inappropriate that might make someone angry. It's okay. You'll survive. Andrew had a way of doing that. All the people that reached out to us on Facebook were saying the same thing. There was this really incredible theme, and I wasn't expecting to hear bad things, but the incredible thing that people were saying was this theme of, Andrew changed my life. Andrew made me who I am today. Andrew said things to me, or introduced me to music, or just the list went on and on, that made me who I am today. That's a really amazing gift. And I think part of that comes from the fact that he was not afraid to speak up. He was not afraid to reach out. So I hope that each of you can take that with you today. And especially the fact that he passed away of an overdose, and the statistics that we talked about. I'm not good at memorizing that kind of thing, but I hope that each of you can take that with you, and if you see someone that needs help, say something. It doesn't mean you're going to save them that minute, but you never know when you're going to plant that mustard seed. You never know that saying one thing might make the difference. Embarrass yourself. Put yourself in an awkward position. It's okay. Andrew did. Andrew did that a lot, and I really love that about him. I want to end this by saying I felt Andrew the other day. And it was kind of weird and kind of sweet. I was in Norman, and I was down the street from the Oxford House where he lived for a short time. And if you're not familiar with the Oxford House, I'm probably not the best person to describe this, but it's a house for men of all ages that have nowhere else to go, and they're an alcoholic or a drug addict. And that was Andrew. He had burned his bridges. He couldn't sleep on anyone else's couch anymore. No one would put up with it. We love you, but no, you can't stay on my couch, and I'm not going to feed you. So we suggested taking him to the Oxford House or the bus station. That was going to be our last, So he went there, and he was only there a few months, and we tried to get him into an Oxford House again in Oregon. But what happened was I was in Norman, and I was in a car with a friend, and I looked up and I realized I was like half a mile from the Oxford House. And I didn't have a plan in my head to go, but suddenly I felt like I need to go there. I need to tell them that Andrew just passed away. And I turned to my friend, I said, can we go to the Oxford House? And so we drove there. And I knocked on a couple of doors, and I finally got the right one, and I walked up, and I didn't know what I was going to say or what I was doing and what this was supposed to accomplish, but I felt compelled to do it. And so I met this guy at the door that was, 40 and looked like shit. Well, he's living in an Oxford House, I get that. And I said, I'm Andrew's mom, and I want you to know he passed away. And I told him his name, and he didn't know what I was talking about, and I just kept talking. I didn't know what I was doing. I wasn't rushing my speech, I wasn't crying. It was just, I need to say this, and I don't know why. Then I realized it had been 7 years since he'd been at that Oxford House, and I did the math. I was like, shit, why would I think someone would still know him here? What am I doing here? And I felt kind of foolish. And so this guy was really sweet, and I hugged him, and he said, thank you for sharing, and I walked away. And I heard Andrew. I felt him right there, and it was simple and sweet, but I felt him say, good job, Mom. That was it. I don't know if that made a difference. I may never go back there. I may never learn if that made a difference or not. But I felt like he directed me there. That I was supposed to do that. And I cried and I laughed, and I am sharing that story because I hope that you guys will do that kind of stuff in your life too. And you feel compelled, you don't know why, or maybe it's embarrassing or awkward, do it anyway. You never know. It's cool. And I feel like I'm just kind of babbling now, so I'm going to stop. Let you guys have a turn to share and bestow us with gifts of stories. That's the best gift you can give us today. Bless all of you. Thank you so much.
I'm Andrew's cousin, Sarah, from Texas. I just say that because Texas is big, and I'm the only, my mom and dad are both from out of Texas, and they both met in Texas. So all the family's out of state. And Texas, you don't just drive through Texas. You have to drive through Texas to get anywhere. So at the time we were going to go visit. It was vacation because we were going for days or weeks or whatnot. So anytime we were going to go see cousins, it was always fun. I actually remember in college. It was my first year, and we were headed up for Thanksgiving, and I was living in the dorms, and the internet, you had to pay for the internet, which you need the internet in college, and you don't have money in college. So I would do this thing where you could like sign up and they would start the service, but you didn't pay for it yet. And after 2 days, you didn't pay, and they like cut it off again. And you can do that a couple of times, and then after a point, they wouldn't even let you do that anymore. So I remember once, this isn't even related, but I remember I did it once, and it was going to get me through Thanksgiving, because all I cared about was getting to Thanksgiving to go and see Meredith and Andrew. And then after that, I'll deal with it. But I just want to get through Thanksgiving to go and visit. And when I was a kid, I never wanted to grow up, and I think in a lot of ways I still haven't. I never did. But Andrew and Meredith grew up way faster than I did, and I never saw that because I loved having fun with them. And anytime I saw them, no matter what age we were, what stage in their life we were, it wasn't like they were having problems or Andrew was having problems. It was vacation. It was fun getting together and doing all the ridiculous stuff we did. So, the coming years are going to be hard. I stayed up almost all night last night thinking of what to say, and nothing felt right because this sure doesn't feel right. A lot of people kind of say when we were all finding out, we weren't surprised, but I never once thought this would happen. I always just kind of thought we would all grow up, because that's what you do as cousins. You grow up together, and you become the people you're going to be together. And we've buried a lot of people together. My whole family, both sides, we've lost a lot. And every time we lose someone, it's like, it's like I'm almost getting good at dealing with this. Like I can handle this, but, and like started like when I was young, and you're growing, and you lose your grandparents, and you think, okay, this is what death is. This is what it feels like. I can handle it. I've already dealt with it. But it's like it gets worse. like it's not something you get used to or you learn from. It's like because every person is different and every grief is different. You mourn the different parts of the people you lose. And I know with Andrew, like Bob said, or I think Meredith said, we were mourning parts. And it is almost like the multiverse. Like my dad said, it's like someone went back in time in the DeLorean and messed up the timeline. And the Andrew we ended up with wasn't the one we were meant to have. It wasn't the one he should have been, but it's what we have. And I have some stories I wanted to share. The first one is probably the stupidest one, and it was when we were real young. And I've been sharing stories all week with people, and every time I share a story, they say, I don't remember that. I don't think that. And I'm thinking, oh, am I making stuff up? Or is this really real or what? But I remembered these things, so I'm going to say it like they happened, because they did. Fighting on this stuff. But the first thing I remember was being at Aunt Michelle's house. And she had a really nice house, and it was not kid-proof. She had like one pop-up book for us kids, and there's 3 of them. Do you remember that pop-up book? It's like a monster book. Yeah, one movie, She had a beautiful house, and she had this staircase, and for a while there weren't even handrails on the staircase. So So all the parents are like, if you're going upstairs, you tell us. We want to like watch you and like stay real close to that wall when you walk. They eventually got one. But so Aunt Michelle has the 3 kids over, and she never had her own children. She was always real happy to have the kids. And I know Andrew and Meredith had way more time with her because they were right nearby. But you know, for me, it was always it was vacation, you know. And she bought us a bunch of toys, being the kind aunt she is. And she got us the toy was Play-Doh. And there, Andrew got the blue Play-Doh, I got the red Play-Doh. And I was going through my Wizard of Oz phase, which I never grew out of. And I wanted the blue Play-Doh because it looked like Dorothy's dress. And Andrew was always real good at, he was always pretty stubborn about stuff. And he was real good at knowing when somebody wanted something and kind of like getting them going, you know, almost like pushing those limits. And he was not going to trade the red Play-Doh for the blue Play-Doh. And he could have cared less what color he had. So we spent the whole night that was supposed to be like fun cousin time, just having this like knockdown, drag out, not so much physical, but just like I was all over the place emotionally, which Greg will tell you I've also never grown out of that. But you know, and poor Aunt Michelle thinking she's done something nice for the kids, getting them these toys, and here we are just fighting over them. And I remember her like sitting us down in the bedroom and just mediating the crap out of this situation. And Andrew eventually deciding that I guess he's done, and he trades the blue Play-Doh. And I always remember that, and I always kind of felt bad about that later because, you know, growing up and looking at it from the adult perspective, and I'm like, man, poor Aunt Michelle, and you know. She was gone before I could ever apologize as an adult for, you know, the crap we pulled. But there's this other time. I held this, I didn't tell anyone this one, so Meredith might remember this one. But they were in Texas. And this was during the Beanie Baby phase of everyone's lives. And McDonald's had those little mini Beanie Babies. The mini Beanie Babies that Meredith knows. And he had a penguin one, and we were visiting, Andrew now? Everyone's remember this one's not right now. We were visiting a dinosaur museum on UT campus at the University of Texas, and it was like the Natural History Museum, and they had all these like dinosaur, we had like footprints outside, like real dinosaur footprints, who knows. And they had like the skeletons on the inside, and there had the glass partition, but it didn't go all the way to the wall. There was some space there. And here's little Andrew, this little Beanie Baby. Up and down and up and down. It was the penguin, I remember. And my mom and dad were like, Andrew, you might want to be careful with that Beanie Baby. And so he's throwing it higher and throwing it higher. And eventually, over the wall, right on one of the little dinosaur displays. And this Beanie Baby lands, like it's a little penguin, so and it's like, hey, like perfect. Like I'm part of this, and my parents are like, we're gonna go. We're done with the museum. This was fun. And it was kind of like, what about the Beanie Baby? We'll get you a new one. Go to McDonald's right now. Because I remember like some other people were walking by, and I was almost proud of it. Like, hey, that was our Beanie Baby. And they're kind of like, we are going right now. We are out of here. So now anytime I visit, I mean, they've redesigned it and all that, but anytime I visit that museum, I always think of that Beanie Baby at that wall, and didn't quite go high enough, but that penguin sure did. Yeah, it's hard to grow up, and you know, anytime something like this happens, it's like you lose your childhood a little bit more, you know, and try to become more adult and mature, but, you know, I had one more I wanted, it was the last time I saw him that I wanted to tell, because I got married in November, and married in the wedding. It's beautiful. Really, I picked really nice bridesmaids dresses. Don't let anyone tell you they were ugly, because they were nice. They were good. And Meredith came down in March to do the fitting for them, because I wanted a lot of family at the wedding, because I guess part of it was me, like, oh, we're always driving up from Texas and flying up from Texas. I want other people to do it for a change. I want everyone to come down to me. So, and I was so grateful that so many family was able to do it, you know, and I wanted family there more than anything. I just wanted family there. And, you know, I knew not everybody would be able to make it. And, you know, when the dress fittings were happening, you know, we could have easily had Meredith measure herself and then mail the stuff, email the measurements. But I talked them into coming down, like, hey, come on, you should come down. And I was like, it's going to be around South by, because I figured, I was like, hey, if I time it around a music festival, I could definitely get them to come down. I was like, you can maybe like check out South by one of the nights, and we can have a whole weekend, it'll be great. And they did, and they both came down. And you know, again, of course, I'm seeing what I want to see, which is my cousins and, you know, my best friends, and we're hanging out. And, you know, I had almost even forgotten about this, but the last real memory I have with Andrew is we are in my living room, and he had brought his portfolio with him, and, you know, especially as he was growing up, that portfolio was real special to him. And he loved showing everyone, hey, this is my art, this is what I've been working on, I just did this gallery thing, you know, and there's all those pencil sketches. And I mean, I love art too, and Andrew definitely had his own style. And, you know, sometimes I liked it, and sometimes I was like, oh yeah, that's you know, really interesting, Andrew. But what he did, he pulled out his portfolio and he said, look, you know, you're getting married, and I don't really have money for a gift or anything. I don't even know if I can make it, but I want to make you some art. I want to make you something as the wedding gift. And I said, oh yeah, that's, you know, I would love to have that, of course. And, you know, we sat there looking through his whole portfolio, and, you know, I love this. He did those polar bear drawings. I was like, I love those polar bears, those are cute. Or like those jellyfish ones, like, oh, those, I love those. And then he had like the hands and feet. I'm like, oh, you know, I'm not for me, but, you know, talent, obviously. But, you know, so we just kind of go there, and he's like, oh yeah, you know, he's, you know, likes just talking about his art. And, you know, life happens, and he never ever got around to making one. But I mean, the best wedding gift he ever could have given me is just having that memory of looking through the album and just being able to talk about it and see how important the art was to him. So, you know, that I'll always have that. And I actually, my mom and I talked with one of his friends in Portland, because when it happened, they were pretty upset up there. You know, we kind of kept open communication a little bit with the internet, and I asked her, I said, hey, you know, he probably didn't have a lot of stuff up there, you know, he left a lot of it behind, but did he ever take that portfolio up there with him? And she said, oh yeah, he had it with him all the time, almost showing people the art. So, you know, I was just grateful for the time you have, and you just do what you can, and you find support with people.
It's heartwarming to see everybody here. We are two old aunts now, I guess. Andrew's grandma was our sister. So we grew up very close and very lovingly. Our family always hug. Good, bad, whatever, we hug. So Mary Claire, Bob, Mike, and Michelle, and their babies are our babies. Renee said once, she said to my daughter, I have one grandchild, and Renee said to the father, you better get used to us being around because anybody has a baby in this family, it's our baby. So, but our sister Marilyn, Andrew's grandma, I have a story to tell, and I hope it makes your hearts a little lighter today. Because anytime we've lost a person, this gives me strength. And Sarah, Michelle knows you're sorry. It's okay. It really, really is. There was a time our sister was ill and taken to the hospital. She passed away shortly after that. Michael and Bob were with her at the hospital. She was given last rites, and the boys stayed in the room. The doctors left, and a few minutes after that, Marilyn started